I shall begin. Giada C. asks, do you have any books to recommend that impacted your life? Giada, I definitely do, and I've written them down. Forgive me for looking down. 12 Rules for Life, Jordan Peterson. The Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle. Recovery, Russell Brand. Daring Greatly and the Gifts of Imperfection by Brené Brown. The Obstacle is the Way, Ryan Holiday. When the Body Says No, Gabor Mate. The Craving Mind, Judd Brewer. Lifespan by David Sinclair. The Autistic Brain by Temple Grandin. The Obesity Code by Dr. Jason Fung. And Grain Brain, written by Dr. David Perlmutter. I could list so many more. I had to narrow it down because I love to read. Those are the books that have impacted my life the most. Elia Ray asks, favorite authors and podcasts? Well, besides those that I just mentioned, I enjoyed Stephen Cope. He wrote a wonderful book called Yoga and the Quest for the True Self that I read when I was about 22, 23, and that impacted my life in a very positive way. I love Wim Hof. I love Amy Tan, Caroline Myss, Louise Hay, Michael Pollan, and Murakami. Podcasts that I love are Under the Skin with Russell Brand. I love the Rich Roll podcast. Tim Ferriss. I like the Moth Radio Hour. Dr. Mark Hyman's podcast. Rhonda Patrick. She's excellent. Found My Fitness. Love her. And probably my favorite is the Joe Rogan Experience. I am a huge fan. LP23 asks, did you go to college? If so, what was it like for you? How was high school for you? Is teaching yoga your full-time job? If not, what is? So let's start with the first one. Did I go to college? I did, and I didn't finish because the environment itself was ill-fitting for the kind of person that I am, and it also didn't suit my goals. So I withdrew, and I went to school for yoga and Ayurveda, and I studied intensively, and I have been very happy with that path. How was high school for me? High school was fine. I got straight A's, and I did very well in school, all my life actually. I'm a voracious learner, so I'm very studious as well, so I'm one of those who actually enjoys doing homework and busy work, as it were. Is teaching yoga your full-time job? If not, what is? My full-time job is actually taking care of myself. That's number one. Yoga is one of my jobs. I also teach meditation, and I also am certified as a functional medicine health and wellness coach and a consultant. So I do that as well, and I provide hospice care. My main job is taking care of Jennifer, however. Riham asks, what are 3 things you want to change about yourself? I think one of the things I would like to change is I would like it if I could be a little more adventurous and open to perhaps spontaneity. The second thing I would like to change is decrease my iPhone usage in terms of digital media consumption. The third thing is that I would like to relax more in my habits. Like anyone else, I think, humans, we're creatures of habit, so I like to do things the way I like to do them, which is not to say that there's anything wrong with that, but insofar as that is my way, I can become averse to trying new things, and I would like to invite some of that into my life while still maintaining the habits that are important to me. They also ask, and did you ever have dark circles, and how did I treat them? I've never had dark circles. I believe that dark circles, and I'll just get very close, I do have a birthmark here, and I have freckles, and I have various imperfections on my face that don't bother me because I'm human and I embrace my natural face. I think dark circles tend to be hereditary, and I've not had that experience. And it also could just be the simple anatomy of my face that I've had chubby, I almost said fat. They are fat. I've had chubby cheeks my whole life, and so my chubby cheeks probably contribute to the fact that I'm sure sooner or later my face, like anything else, will yield to gravity and age will take its course, which I am fully embracing of preemptively. But as of right now and all my life, I've never had that. Many asked, do I have children? No, I don't have children. A number of you also asked to give advice for my 20-year-old self or my younger self, and I think I will make a dedicated video to that. So I'm going to bookshelf that for now. Jamie asked, when you tell people that you are 37, do they get shocked? Sometimes, but 37 is young, and I think I look my age. So, no, not really, not particularly. I am learning, though. I am learning and have learned that being on YouTube, you viewing me have longer time spent examining my face, right? Like up close too, because you're staying with me in this moment. Whereas when I'm out and about in the world, you just kind of pass people by here and there. So people are not getting much time to scrutinize and pick apart and, like I said, examine the face as much. So I do think that's part of why people express their opinions either way more freely, because you're spending more time with my face. So there you go. But no, not really. People don't get shocked particularly. I think I look my age. Sina Moli Toma asks, favorite color? Orange. Ever since I was 3. Orange. My favorite Korean food recipes. Oh, I love so much. I love bulgogi, my mom's bulgogi. I love braised short ribs, goguma, and kimchi, of course. Ponytail kimchi is my favorite. SS asks, are you married? I'm not married. I've never been married. I have been proposed to twice in my life, but I was not ready at those times, and I am proud to say that I turned both of those proposals down because I simply wasn't at a point in my life where I felt ready to enter into that institution of marriage, which I take very seriously. Any huge life decisions like that, I don't take lightly at all. And I knew I wasn't ready, so I declined both of those, and I think I made the right choice. I don't think I made the right choice. So no, I'm not married, never have been. Pink Desert Rose asks, do you find it easy to make new friends / go on dates as an introvert? Yes and no. I'm not outgoing in the sense of I'm not a social butterfly, but on the rare occasions that I do find myself in social settings, it's been my observation of myself, insofar as one can observe one's own self, that I am actually very engaging when I want to be and when I choose to be. So I often, if I'm being honest, I often surprise myself if and when I do, like I said, find myself in these social engagements. It tends to be a very positive experience, and people seem to respond well to me. So Doha Belgachi asks, can you please teach how to do eyeliner for hooded eyes? Oh, I'm sorry, I can't, because I don't wear eyeliner. I don't wear any eye makeup at all, and face makeup. I like to wear lip products only, and I like to just let my skin be. And I'm not having to remove makeup and tug at my face and my eyes unnecessarily. So I do believe that is, a good thing too. But I haven't worn eyeliner since I was about 17, so I wouldn't even know the first thing about how to teach someone else how to apply it. I'm sorry. Alina O asks, what is my sign? I know that I am a Gemini. Kath asks, do you ever travel solo? Do you get a lot of questions about being single / unmarried? And what do you usually respond? How do you deal with negative and or envious people / bullies? I do travel solo sometimes, and I travel with my mom too. I love traveling with my mom. She and I are great buddies. So I wanted to actually show you. These are from 14 years ago. My mom and I took a really special trip to Iceland together. So here's the first one. And you can see 14 years ago, Jennifer, with my short hair. It was even shorter than that, like a pixie cut, and this has grown out quite a bit. And then this is me on Jeju Island in Korea. And another one with my short hair. I just thought it would be fun to show that. I do many things solo, actually. I'm a person who likes enjoying my own company, so I do many things alone, very contently. And I do get a lot of questions about my self-partnering, as Emma Watson so lovingly referred to it as. I do. But I don't mind. When people ask if I'm married, I just simply say no, because that's the answer. And I deal with negative or envious people and bullies. I like to show people kindness, because I think if something is bringing an ugly side of someone else out, usually that's because they are seeing something in someone else that is triggering a response in them. And oftentimes it's something that they're uncomfortable with, or something that they haven't reconciled within themselves, and that's why they are angered or upset or disturbed or otherwise triggered by it. So I think showing kindness is always a good thing, no matter what. And also, my emotions and my thoughts and my feelings are valuable personal commodities that I should not waste on people who don't deserve them. So there's that too. There's something to be said about just giving people space and leaving them be. Beyond that, I'm not interested in engaging back and forth with people who have nothing but nastiness to spew, because again, I think it boils down to the individual not having examined something within themselves, and that has nothing to do with me. So it would be futile to engage with that. A bad use of my energy. Divyam asks, how do you do things you do consistently? Your routines and not postponing things. I prioritize. So the things that are important to me, I make sure I get them done, and I wake up early, and that means I go to bed early as well. So I wake up at 5 a.m. so that I can have 2 hours before I have to go to work, and I can do my morning routine and all the things that are very important to me. So in other words, the things that need my attention and time get done because I make the time for them. And I believe that's the key, is that the things that you tend to are the ones that are the most, the highest on your priority list. So I make sure without question that I get those done. I don't postpone those. They are important to my functioning level, both mentally and physically. Therefore, I need to pay them the deserving attention so that I can move forward with the rest of my daily activities. Charlotte L. Rose asks, what is the easiest way to make yoga a habit in one's daily life? Again, yoga and meditation are very important to me. Therefore, I always make the time. Every single day, I carve out the time and make it a habit, because regular consistency of doing these things is what keeps me able to do the other things in my life well. So it's very important for me to manage that part of my life so that I can perform in other areas of my life. So things like eating healthy, feeding myself properly, my self-care, yoga, meditation, these are absolutes for me. And it doesn't matter what I have to do to rearrange my day to fit those in. I do so accordingly because it's that important to me. And it's just that simple, is that the things that are important to us, we make the time for. So I don't have any secret. That's what I do. I just make the time and I do it. And I have committed to that. So I'm disciplined and I manage myself in that way. And I don't ask questions. I just do it because I know the benefit and I need that benefit. So it's not difficult for me. I guess what I'm trying to say is it's self-motivating. Strawberry Shortcake for Life asks, how many siblings do you have? I have one older sister. Cass asks, what's your hobby or what do you like doing in your free time? Do you have a dream or passion? I love keeping plants, house plants. I love orchids. And another hobby I have is cooking. And I would say my biggest hobby is learning and researching. And what do you like to do in your free time? Those things. And I like to take walks in nature. I love doing that. And do you have a dream or passion? My ultimate dream is to do Japanese taiko drumming. My mom knows this, so I'm sure she's laughing. But that is my dream, to do the Japanese taiko drumming. And also another dream of mine is to be on the Joe Rogan podcast and converse with Joe in person in his studio. That would be literally a dream come true. So call me, Joe. Holistically Clean and Clear asks, do you have a book recommendation for someone that needs inspiration to get back into a healthy lifestyle? One book that I really loved that I would recommend to anyone actually is Gabor Mate. He wrote a book called When the Body Says No, and that book is very, very good. I highly recommend that book. What are your goals for your channel other than possibly gaining confidence with public speaking, getting over just my fear of putting myself out in the world? Because I do have to say I spent a large chunk of my 20s in kind of complete solitude. It was that my introversion and my anxiety and things like that were that severe that I didn't get out much besides grocery shopping and things like that. I wasn't able to, I was not functioning at an optimal level, I'll just put it that way. So I wanted to do a sort of, I treat this as a sort of experiment, a self-experiment, because I saw YouTube as an opportunity to be doing something that would terrify me. Well, it's not that it would terrify me, it still does terrify me, but I am growing. I feel myself opening up and becoming more comfortable. I'm not natural in front of the camera. I'm not sure I ever will be, but that's okay with me. And people seem to bear with me with that, so I'm very gracious about your patience with me. I think the main thing I wanted to do with my channel is to open myself up to what this can bring to my life. This seems to be so far an overwhelmingly enriching experience, and I'm learning so much about myself that I didn't realize, and my desire to be creative, for instance, and things like that, that are little delightful surprises that have been peppered into this experience. So I suppose also that I wanted to do something new, because I think as adults we become situated in our lives and our habits and our routines. I certainly have. There's nothing wrong with that. But that means that in order to have new, completely novel experiences, we have to be proactive if we want to, that is. And I wanted to. I wanted to dive into something completely scary and new and perhaps potentially exciting for me, and this has been all of those things. So I'm very glad, and I will say that the one thing I feel is that I don't like to have any expectations about my channel. That's not to say I don't want my channel to flourish and be successful. I do, but I don't want to expect anything. And I actually feel that way in all areas of my life. I feel that expectation, it often leads to dwelling on that rather than being able to enjoy the experience. And this ride, I want to enjoy the ride while I'm on it. So that would be my goal right now, is to be in the moment and keep enjoying this project, and I am. Jenna M. asks, you seem extremely healthy, so I'd like to know what inspired you to care about your health? Was it out of fear of aging? No, actually not at all. I don't have a fear of aging at all. I'm looking forward to it because aging means that I'm living longer and I want a good quality of life. So aging doesn't scare me, certainly. I am very healthy now. There was a long period of time in my life where I had unhealthy eating habits and I was abusing exercise and things like that. And I wasn't taking care of myself. And so that led me to have a very unhealthy mindset around the way I fed myself. I started researching and I wanted to find a lifestyle that I could stick with for the rest of my life. I wanted to find a way of eating that I could nourish my body with, and I've always wanted to live actually how I am right now, which is I'm very fortunate that I made it this far in my journey, but it didn't happen overnight. Kalina Roche asks, do you drink any alcohol? No, I don't, ever. IntelliBeauty9 asks, what ethnicity are you? I am half white with Pennsylvania Dutch and German heritage and half Korean. Lenka asks, do you ever feel that being an introvert can sometimes limit you? Not so much anymore because I purposefully and proactively challenge it. I think I've gotten better as I've matured, but more importantly, I should say than that, is that I'm learning and I have learned to embrace the way I am. And that seems to have helped me the most, is actually just rather than resisting my nature and trying to be something I'm not or somebody I'm not, I want to be my authentic self, and that seems to serve me much better, certainly mentally speaking. Kitty Cleopatra asks, I would love to know some of your favorite things in life, food, movies, places, activities. There's a huge metro park. I love walking there with my mother. It's very beautiful. So walking in nature, I've traveled to places like Iceland and Korea and, these beautiful places, Jeju Island. Those places are cemented in my mind as some of the most beautiful, breathtaking places I've been to. As far as food, I really love all types of food. Japanese sweet potatoes, I love salads, seafood of all kinds, braised short ribs. I love ice cream, chocolate, things like that, kimchi. I would say my top 5 favorite movies are Melancholia, Billy Elliot, Searching for Bobby Fischer, Synecdoche, New York, and 3 Colors Red. Lupe S. asks, do you eat grains or legumes? And if not, why not? I don't, because legumes contain lectins. Lectins are carbohydrate-binding proteins that disturb the gut flora and cause digestive imbalance. And certainly in me, they cause a great deal of distress and discomfort that is very uncomfortable. So I stopped eating them years ago, but legumes are the highest lectins, followed by grains, so I don't eat either for that reason. I think it's my body's way of telling me to eat other things besides those. There are plenty of healthy foods to eat, so I do so. Tango Mango asks, do you still live in the same town you grew up in? I don't live in the same town I grew up in. I live about 35 miles away. They also ask to share my favorite cookbooks. I don't actually use cookbooks. I just cook my food the way I want to eat it, and that is usually simply prepared and interfering with it in the least amount possible, because I like to taste the food. So I'm not a very recipe-heavy person, I must say. I like to eat very simply and very, probably what some people would call blandly, and I don't mean in the seasoning sense, but I mean that my diet is probably very bland and basic, which I prefer. And the last question, I thought this would be a good one to end on. Zyphon asks, yo, do her eyebrows ever move? So I thought I would show you, Zyphon and everyone else. I'm going to get very close. I'm moving my eyebrows and you can see that they move. So, just for you, Xiphon, they move. So that's going to be it for this part. If I didn't answer your question, please don't take it personally. There were so many. I thank you all again for your viewership and your continued support and encouragement. It means so much to me, and I don't want to repeat myself. So I will leave it at that. Thank you for watching, and be well.